She humiliated a new waiter all night, so we ruined her career in one song. A cruel trainer bullied a server, then karma showed up loud. They regretted everything. Worst customer ever. She was smiling when she did it. That smug, self-satisfied smile people get when they believe they're untouchable. When they think their title, their experience, or their perceived importance gives them the right to treat someone else like dirt. She sat there all night watching a man twice her age unravel under her words, and she enjoyed every second of it. What she didn't know, what she couldn't possibly imagine, was that before the night was over, an entire restaurant would turn that smile into silence. If you've ever watched someone abuse power, humiliate someone who couldn't fight back, or act like basic human decency was optional, stay with me, because this is one of those rare revenge stories where the justice isn't quiet. It's loud, public, and deeply, deeply satisfying. This happened back in 2015. I was in nursing school at the time, which meant my life was a non-stop cycle of stress, exhaustion, and counting every dollar. I worked nights as a waitress just to keep myself afloat. Sleep was a luxury. Free time didn't exist. I lived off coffee, adrenaline, and the promise that one day, all of this would be worth it. The restaurant I worked at wasn't like most places. We didn't advertise. No commercials, no coupons, no social media promos. Everything we had came from word of mouth. That was our pride. Our reputation was everything. People came because someone they trusted told them to come, which meant one bad experience didn't just affect one table, it could ripple outward and hurt everyone. By that point, I'd been there for several months, long enough to know the menu backward and forward, long enough for management to trust me. I wasn't officially a trainer, but when new servers were fresh out of training, management liked to place them near me, close enough that I could step in if things went wrong, close enough that they wouldn't feel alone. That night, I was paired next to a new guy. He was older than most of us, quiet, polite, a little awkward in that way that comes from trying too hard not to mess up. He'd recently been released from incarceration, and you could tell he was carrying that weight with him. Every movement careful, every word measured. He was grateful just to have a job and terrified of losing it. It was his first night with a full section of his own. I could see the nerves in his hands when he rolled silverware, the way he kept checking his notes, the way his eyes darted around the dining room like he was bracing for impact. I made a mental note to keep an eye on him. About an hour before closing, they walked in. 6 people, loud, confident, the kind of group that fills the room with their presence and expects the world to adjust around them. Mid-20s, dressed well, laughing a little too hard, and at the center of it all was her. She had perfect posture, perfect hair, that look in her eyes that says, "I know more than you." The kind of person who walks into a place already convinced she's going to be disappointed and determined to make it someone else's fault. At first, it seemed manageable. They sat in his section, right next to mine. I watched him approach the table with a nervous smile, introduce himself, and take drink orders. A few minutes later, he came to me in a panic. "They want something that's not on the menu," he whispered. "She says the other location makes it all the time. Are we supposed to do that?" I already knew the answer. No, we didn't have it. And no, the other location didn't make it all the time. But I could see the fear in his eyes. His first night, his first difficult table. His confidence was hanging by a thread. This wasn't the moment to teach him how to push back. I told him to check with the kitchen. The cooks agreed to make it, and that was the exact moment she realized she had power. From then on, the requests never stopped. Every single time he went to that table, she needed something else. A different modification, a substitution, another question, another complaint. He'd barely turn away before she was calling him back. Not because anything was wrong, because she could. I watched his shoulders slowly hunch. His movements got quicker, more frantic. He started apologizing before she even spoke. His smile stopped reaching his eyes. So I stepped in where I could. I watched his other tables, ran food, refilled drinks, slotted his guests into my own service rhythm so he wouldn't drown. That's literally why I was placed next to him. But she wasn't satisfied. She didn't want just service. She wanted domination. Later, he told me what she'd been saying to him all night. How she laughed while she told him she was a trainer at another location. How she said he was the worst waiter she'd ever seen. How she mocked his mistakes, corrected him loudly, made sure she knew she was watching. Every word was calculated. By the time their food was cleared, he looked like a ghost, pale, hollow, like someone had reached inside him and twisted something important. Then came the end of the night. They'd come in late and stayed past closing. The dining room was empty, chairs were flipped, lights dimmed. They were the last table in the entire section, tucked into a corner. He found me in the back, voice barely steady. "They want employee discounts," he said. "More than one, on the same check." I blinked. Employee? That's when everything came out. She had told him, bragged to him that she worked for the company, that she trained people, that she knew the system, that she deserved special treatment. She told him the discounts could be stacked. She said she'd done it before. And as if that wasn't enough, she now claimed there were multiple birthdays at the table and demanded free cakes and the birthday song immediately. Something inside me went cold, then hot. That slow, boiling rage that starts in your stomach and crawls up your chest. The kind that makes your hands feel tight and your jaw ache. This wasn't just a bad customer. This was someone abusing power for entertainment. I looked at her, this man who was just trying to rebuild his life, who had been humiliated for hours by someone half his age, and I knew this wasn't ending quietly. I told him to prep the cakes, but not to take them out yet. Then I went straight to the manager. Our managers were rare, the kind people talk about years later. They protected their staff. They listened. They didn't brush things off. I explained everything, calmly, clearly, no exaggeration, no dramatics. I watched his expression change as I spoke, the tightening jaw, the stillness, the kind of calm that means something serious is about to happen. He smiled. "Go ahead," he said. Then he took the employee numbers she'd given and picked up the phone. While he made that call, I moved. I grabbed every employee I could find, servers finishing side work, cooks wiping down the line, a dishwasher getting ready to clock out. Quick whispers, cruel table, bullying a new server, fake discounts, fake birthdays. Not a single person hesitated. When I came back, the cakes were ready. My coworker looked at me like he didn't understand what was happening, but he trusted me. I nodded. We walked out together. I have never seen that many people gather for a birthday song in my life. Servers, cooks, hosts, even the dishwasher. They sat there, 6 of them in that corner booth, and she was smiling, arms crossed, leaning back, soaking it in. She thought she was about to be celebrated. And then we sang. Not politely, not sweetly. We sang like we were trying to break the building. We screamed that birthday song at full volume. The sound slammed into the corner walls and bounced back even louder. It was overwhelming, physical, vibrating in your chest. Their smiles vanished instantly. Hands flew to their ears, one flinched, another leaned away. Someone laughed nervously, unsure what was happening. We didn't stop. We sang longer, louder, relentless. I watched her confidence collapse in real time, the smugness drain from her face, the power evaporate. For the first time all night, she couldn't control the situation. And while we were destroying eardrums, the manager finished his call. He'd spoken to her manager, then the general manager. Her employee number was confirmed, her behavior documented, everything laid out. When the song finally ended, she was escorted to the host stand. The phone was placed in her hand. I watched her face drain of color as she listened. I watched her eyes fill with tears. I watched her try to explain herself. It didn't matter. No discount, no stacking, no second chances. She left that night in silence. I don't know what happened to her after that. Maybe she convinced someone to hire her again. Maybe she didn't. But I know this: power without empathy always collapses. And sometimes justice doesn't whisper. Sometimes it screams. If this story made your chest feel tight in that good, satisfying way, hit like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments, what's the most brutal karma you've ever witnessed? Because trust me, there's plenty more where this came from.